Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Daily Carry Podcast. Excited for another episode today, episode 47. Episode 47. I think I'm right on that. I hope I'm right on that. But
it was episode 2 like a week ago.
We're just does flying. It seem like that?
I know.
Yeah. Episode 1, or I guess 1.1. Maybe someday. I was just thinking about it because I was just now editing some videos off of the old setup that we first tried to use that had some of the footage from JWI 2 on it, and I saw that because it's still on there. Our first mock-up recording of a podcast. It's absolutely terrible.
It is so much fun though doing this. I was joking with Jared about 90 seconds ago before we went live that a buddy of mine was like, he was watching the podcast with Eli Crane. He's like, all I see is a white wall and your big head. Lower the camera. I'm like, it's technical, man. You don't understand. This has been so much fun. We're going to go all JWI today, right?
Yeah.
Like, well, why not? This thing's huge.
Why not? Let's just have fun. Talk about JWI today because it's coming up very quickly. Next Saturday. I'm sure that we'll probably make mention of it on a couple of episodes because this is a little bit ahead of time. But, yeah, JWI. We're going to have some fun. And we already showed and teased the new firearm that we've got from Terran Tactical, which is super cool. But it sounds like we're going to have Tatiana from Terran Tactical on the show with us next week.
Epic.
Which will be crazy. So she'll be here for the event. She's been heavily involved in helping Pit Boss get some support from Terran Tactical by way of the firearm, some logos for graphics and all that kind of stuff. And so very excited about the new relationship with Terran Tactical. I think that that's going to just help everything move in the right direction, just continue to network with the right people. And I think that this thing's just going to keep growing. I mean, it's amazing in its first year because that's what it is. I mean, we had our first JWI in January.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so JWI 4, we tried really hard and made a goal to do one a quarter. And here we are in the last quarter, December 6th. Next Saturday, we're going to do JWI 4. And it's a lot that goes into it, but there's a lot that comes out of it as well. And people really seem to be enjoying it. So I'm really excited to have another one, and I'm excited to see what happens with all the matches that we have because, man, do we have some matches on this one. This one's going to be absolutely crazy. I'm really excited to see what these guys do, how they perform. And, of course, really the appeal is jiu-jitsu, but also the overtime weapons. And just to show, I mean, this is what we started with. I can see the teeth marks and a little bit of the slobber on there.
Yeah,
this is
pretty sure that's from the dog.
This is the one that you were using for the disarm from Zion, the Bulldog. Took this from you, but this is what we were using and what we have used for JWI 1 all the way through JWI 3. This is plastic. It's just, you can buy these things on Amazon. They shoot just a little plastic bullet. The casing has a spring in it, shoots a casing out, which is pretty cool. It just adds a little bit more to the effect. But these things break, man. I'm not going to break it, but
yeah.
We have broke so many of these guns. So many. And they're cool. I mean, it's not like they're super expensive, so it doesn't make a huge deal.
Which is
all off of a spring. They cycle and they actually shoot that little orange plastic bullet, and then the casing comes out, and it shoots the plastic bullet at all of like 10 feet per second.
Like you're flicking it.
So it's super safe. It's not like it's like anybody has to have safety glasses on or anything. It's totally fine. But these have done a good job. But this, man, this is quite the improvement.
It's epic.
I mean, just everything about it, from the way that it feels, the way that it's weighted. And this is a rechargeable green gas gun, so it's actually going to have a pretty good bang to it. And this is a licensed replica sent to us by Terran Tactical, licensed replica of the Pit Viper that John Wick is given in John Wick 4.
Yep.
Which is pretty cool.
It is cool. It's very cool, actually.
The way that I understand it is they had some challenges if you watch the documentary of John Wick, it's honestly a pretty amazing story how they were able to pull off making the first John Wick movie, and the success that it had is amazing considering all the challenges that they went through. But they had a concept, the people involved had a concept of, they were calling it like gun fu, like up close. I would call it gun jitsu.
Gun jitsu, yeah.
But they couldn't do it with like regular blank guns, like just using blanks. They couldn't do it because those guns are too dangerous to use even with blanks up close, because they still have gases and particles and fire and things like that that still come out of the end of the gun. So the way that they were able to get the film industry to sign off on this, and the way that they were able to actually start making these up close and personal scenes with guns, was switching to airsoft guns that are pretty much as close to the real deal as you can get. But instead of shooting an actual blank, it's just cycling and shooting, and it's loud, and it still has some gases kicking out of it, but it's not like a blank, you know, a lot safer. So it's pretty cool, because then they just do everything in post, and they're able to have those super cool gun scenes up close and personal. And I think that largely that's what has made John Wick what it has been. A lot of the success has to do with how well they have choreographed scenes in those movies with hand-to-hand combat. And so it makes a lot of sense, because that's also exactly, I think, the reason why people like JWI so much. Fighting in suits. If there's no submission in 4 minutes, you got to fight to a gun or fight to a knife. That's pretty cool. That's a cool concept, especially for something that's like submission grappling, because whenever you've got high-level guys grappling, it's just an exchange that's not really exciting most of the time. Most of the time, two higher-level guys, they're going to get to a position, and they're going to be in that position fighting over little tiny positions. And that's going to be like the majority of the match. Ever so often, there'll be high-level guys that just scrap and go after it, and they scramble like the whole match, and it's a crazy match. But those are outliers. Most of the high-level matches are pretty slow and pretty technical. Whenever you have a clock of 4 minutes and you know that there's going to be a weapon put in there, it makes you want to work hard. It makes you want to give it everything you've got. A lot of guys, they don't even want to let it get to the weapon, because if it gets to the weapon, all right, what if something goes wrong? If I could control it before, get the submission, then I want to do that. That's what I've heard echoed by a lot of the competitors. So it motivates them to push a fast pace, but then whenever the weapon comes in, it's wildly entertaining. And we're wearing suits, which we've all grown up watching all of our favorite action movie heroes wearing suits, fighting bad guys. So it's kind of just already naturally programmed into us. So pretty cool. And man, X-Suit has really stepped it up for this one too. They've got those mats that they just sent to us that are going to be in the center of the arena. They're an incredible sponsor, always taking care of every single one of our athletes, everyone involved, getting us very nice suits to be able to use as equipment in these events. And without those suits, it definitely wouldn't be what it is. JWI 1, we didn't have those suits. JWI 1, it was bring your own suit. And most guys got them from like Goodwill, thrift stores, whatever. But those suits were ripping. Those suits were uncomfortable. Those suits were cutting off circulation.
Not very bendy, choking yourself out.
I genuinely think that they were hindering performance.
Yeah, of course.
And then JWI 2, we got suits that like you could actually do jiu-jitsu in. Huge step up. So definitely thankful for the opportunity and the door that opened with X-Suit. They've been awesome. And man, I'm just excited for this event. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be such a fun night, and just excited to bring the community together again and put on a good show, have some fun together, and put jiu-jitsu on display.
Yeah.
It's going to be cool.
It is. And for the folks that are out, if you're tuning in, you're like, oh, John Wick's not my thing, or jiu-jitsu's not my thing. You guys are EDC, it's the daily carry. You guys talk a lot about faith. There is an element of, I don't know how to say this without just kind of saying it boldly. Every person in life has something they enjoy. Like I got a buddy of mine he is a former military guy, he's a high-end financier. His thing is fly fishing. I think the guy would make YouTube videos all day long on fly fishing. If he could make a living at just going out and doing it, right? So you find that thing that you love is the point. For me, it's hockey, no doubt about it. I play 3-4 nights a week. I'm 57. I'm still skating against 20-year-old guys that have come out of junior, some guys that have come out of pros. And I love it. I love the competition. I go out here on the mat, and I get beat up because I'm learning. I'm not very good at it yet, but I do enjoy it. I say that to say this. What Jared sitting over here has put into this thing, this dream, this vision, if you're listening to this podcast, stop and think for a second. You host an event. You bring in world-renowned, really competition athletes, guys that really understand the game, legitimate black belts. People like me can only admire and watch, kind of in awe of what they do. And then somebody catches wind of it. I think this is where this became so neat, just to watch your vision, because there was no way to predict where this was going to go. But to watch this vision come true, now all of a sudden you have people reaching out to you, and there's this. We want to be a part of this. All the way to the John Wick series. Who was the? I'm gonna forget his name.
Music producer. Lake Castlevania.
Yeah. For the movies, comes to the last event and loves it. I mean, he's signing autographs. He's hanging out with people. He's all over the place. He's here for the whole thing, and he's in it. I watched him watch all night long. His eyes were glued to the mat. It wasn't like he just showed up and stood over in the corner. This guy was invested. It was cool. Now you got Terran Tactical sponsoring, saying, hey, this is the gun we used in the movies. We want you guys to use. We see what you're doing here. When you see a love behind something, when you see somebody impassioned in it, other people start to get behind it. They feel that cause. While this is it's a show, I guess, of sorts, but you're not faking the reality of the jiu-jitsu. Like that is, it's as legit as it gets. And if somebody's really, wanting to come in to train, to learn, to have self-defense, all that, this is a great event to come watch. And then you had the awe to it, and then the dress code and the light change, and you put the dog in, and you've got people coming on board now that starts speaking to this thing, and the next thing you know, you got somebody calling you from whatever magazine it is or online deal and say, can we interview you about this? We saw this thing. And what went from 100,000 views now, millions and millions. That to me, when you see something blossom and you know the guy behind the scene and you know his heart, you know the integrity and you know the ethics by which he operates, but then you see the work ethic that goes into it too, because it's hard. It's a lot. I say it all the time. I come home and Jane looks at me, she's like, on JWI3, remember? I mean, it was like, there were some legitimate 2-3 o'clock in the morning nights getting ready for things. And you come in and you just, it's like you can't get up early enough the next day to get back at it. And that's what I want people to understand is there's a sense of awe that I get out of this, that other dudes that have seen it get out of it. And it was really great because when he did the flying armbar, that video went viral, right? Like people saw that. But if you watch that match, what did that match last? 30 seconds? Yeah. They started off, they ran around, kind of chased each other for a second. Here comes the setup, boom. They go to the ground, the tap, the place just erupts. It explodes. It was such a great send-off to get this thing flying, pun intended, I guess, to take it to the next level. So I'm excited for JWI 4, but I'm really already starting to look forward to JWI 5 because with who's on this card and the style and some of the things that are changing, and you speak to that this is your baby, but I'm sitting back, even being a part of it, just sitting up here watching it. And even for me, I'm sitting back going like, this thing's going to be so cool. And that's if you're into the world of John Wick and jiu-jitsu and all the stuff that comes with it. The importance of what you just said behind the gun, though, it's amazing that they develop something that is so unbelievably realistic. I think it's really balanced. It's a cool piece of machinery. And it does go back to the protection of actors. We all know a couple stories that have happened, but if you go all the way back to Brandon Lee, that's how he died back in the day, right? And they said, man, we got to do something with this. And so these guys have built something that is second to none. And to come on here and talk about it and then be a part of the event, it just takes it to the next level. And it is so cool. It's safe, it's realistic, and it puts you on the map in a very different way. So I say congrats to everything you put together. I think people should understand there's a lot that has gone into this.
There is, but with that, there's a lot of help. It's not like this is a one-man operation.
No.
Man, I mean, even where we're sitting right now up here, we had, before JWI 2, we had pretty much the whole gym in here.
Yep.
Guys helping us put this mezzanine up, and then guys helping us get everything prepped and ready. You know, what I've found is that it's nothing super profound, but whenever you've done it, it becomes a little easier the next time.
Sure.
And then a little easier the next time. I think that the same is to be said for pretty much almost everything, and podcast included. Like, first episode, a lot went into that.
Yep.
Second episode, a lot went into that. And we put a lot into every episode, but as you just find a flow and you find a rhythm, it's kind of like what you said a minute ago. Like, yeah, is there late nights still? Is there still times where you're working to the bone? Yeah, but it's like, man, I can't get up early enough the next day to get back at it because I know it needs to be done. I've done it before. I'm not necessarily having to learn something new again this time, but I'm having to just do what we've done before. And I remember how incredible how incredible it was and how much fun everybody had last time. And that's honestly what motivates me.
Yeah.
What motivates me is that all the spectators have a blast. Everybody online really enjoys watching it. And we're putting a lot of new eyes on jiu-jitsu and, of course, tactics with firearms and knives. But the competitors, every single event, it's been such an incredible energy and attitude. The sportsmanship that just naturally comes out of this is absolutely incredible. I mean, for there to be all smiles, no matter whether you win or lose, like, nobody to this day has just been, like, frustrated from a loss. Like, just like, man, that was such a bogus match. Well, we give every single opportunity for it to be very definitive. Like, you either win or you lose. Like, there's almost no gray area. We had one match that had gray area, and we're running that match back. And they were both totally fine about it, and they loved it, and they had a blast the whole time. The one match that we had a little bit of an issue figuring out who was the winner, who was the loser, was Brian and Xander.
Yeah.
Ortoleva versus Errol, if you were looking at the poster. And Brian got the gun at the end of his match. This is JWI 2.
Yeah.
And he's like trying to shoot Xander. Nobody saw any bullet slam, but I don't know what happened.
Yeah.
And the cameras, we couldn't really tell. And I was like, Brian, did you just like sacrifice yourself, shoot through yourself, and just like kill Xander? And anyways, we kind of let there be a real good crowd involvement in that because we're like, you guys want to see 60 more seconds with a knife? And they just went crazy. Yeah. They were like, yeah. And so we did that. And then, of course, they had their whole exchange. Xander got the knife. Brian got his suit jacket wrapped up and like used it against him, took him to the ground. It was just a fun exchange. But even then after that, it's like, okay, well, we let the crowd decide, and the crowd decided that they wanted Xander to win. It's probably because he had the long hair and he looked like Keanu Reeves that night.
Yeah, he has some flow. I think it was all girls. The girls were yelling, let's be honest.
Definitely.
Poor Brian.
Yeah.
Submission by hair.
But they're running it back. This is the first rematch that we've ever done.
Oh, that's going to be good, though.
And they're doing it this December 6th. So we'll see what happens. I mean, if Xander wins. But if Brian wins, man, then we're going to have a trilogy.
Yeah.
But it's just little things like that I'm excited about. Honestly, the biggest issue that I've probably had as far as like a bottleneck on the growth of this thing is, man, I'm just starved for enough content to be able to post. Because whenever we do these events, we get a good few matches, but we've done 3 so far this year. And the first one had like 6 matches. The second one had, I think, like 15, maybe 12. And then the third one had like around 15. Well, those are all 5-minute matches, no rounds, and it's 4 minutes, then overtime at the last minute. So you're talking about being able to pull from just a few matches highlights, and then you start to post these highlights, and it all that content starts to be exhausted very quickly. Like, I'll post all the highlights I can off of these videos, and then I'll just be now running on empty. All right, don't have anything else, right? But we just now did the first ever JWI Gang Wars. We called it that. It's just a team event for JWI. So we ran 3 teams of 5, and we just did it as an ancillary event. Just our guys, morning class versus afternoon class versus evening class, and it was a blast. And we came up with a system to be able to run 3 teams simultaneously, doing like a make it, take it style. So the winner stays, and it just alternates between teams. Whoever's going in, it's always alternating to the next team. So that works to run a really fast pace, which is one thing that kind of it holds team events back usually, is because they're just kind of drawn out a little too long. But then we still had the overtime weapons rule in place. We had some other fun like tag team style rules in place that are applicable in certain scenarios. And I think that that's going to be an absolute blast to do that with teams, like outside of our team, because we've already got a lot of people are like, hey, let me know, I'll put a team together. Yeah. Hey, let me know, I'll put a team together. Because that will give us, my idea for that is to have gang wars in between every JWI numbered event. So that way we're continuing to give an opportunity for guys who want to come in here and do jiu-jitsu in a suit with overtime weapons. Because there's so many people who just want to do that. They just want to experience it. They just want to try it. It looks fun because it is fun and super practical, super applicable to actual real life scenarios. If you were wrestling with somebody and a weapon were to be placed somewhere, or you know that a weapon's already on the ground, or a weapon falls out of somebody's pocket, or whatever it might be. I don't know. The whole point is the overtime weapons, there's definitely a use case for training, going, recovering, retaining, and using the weapon. If you were needing to ever do that in the scenario, I can guarantee you the guys that have done JWI, they are 10 times more equipped in a situation that might require an actual weapon than other guys that are just doing jiu-jitsu.
Sure.
They're prepared, you know?
I think, so I just had a business model flash through my head. So for X-Suit, so I had somebody say, so you guys are doing it in suits because of the John Wick thing. And I said, yeah, but there's an applicability to real world. I was like, guys fight in suits in the real world? And I'm like, well, I mean, like from a self-defense standpoint, if something happens. But I said, from my world in law enforcement, I mean, I've never worked in an agency where detectives didn't wear suits. And you're going out to effect an arrest. I can't tell you how many times guys ended up on the ground hollering for backup because you got a situation that's going on. And it didn't hit me until when they said that, and I'm giving them the response. I can literally sit here and envision, I bet 10, 12 dudes that went, I remember them getting up off the ground and going, this was a brand new suit that they spent $600, $700, $800 on down at your Men's Warehouse or wherever they get them, right? And you, as a detective, you're wearing them every day, so you might have 12, 15, 18 suits that you're cycling all the time. You're spending a lot of money on these things to look professional, to be professional, but you have absolutely no bendability, no capability in these things. They're restrictive, they're tight, they're a suit. And I just thought, man, X-Suit has a whole market out there. You should be catering to law enforcement because these guys, and even in uniforms, we had the exact same thing. And I was only on the street for a short period of time because most of my career was fugitive or undercover, but it is super restrictive to fight in a uniform, in a vest, with a gun belt.
Yeah.
To go to the ground.
Makes sense.
I don't know. I was just sitting there thinking, man, X-Suit could make a killing in the law enforcement realm.
And you know what? Hopefully they do. Hopefully we help facilitate getting a lot of eyes on them. And I think that we are. I mean, I can't think of any other suit company that has anything that's driving as many views as what they're going to get from events like ours. I don't think there's any other suit company that I can think of.
And they're nice.
And we've had in the past, because it's been the past 2 JWIs that we've been sponsored by X-Suit. But a lot of guys on the Gang Wars also wore their X-Suits. I wore mine. A lot of other guys wore theirs as well. And they hold up. Like, we've only had a couple of rips, not very many, a couple of rips, and very minor rips. Like, even the rips that have been, like, they could be pretty easily fixed, you know? Whereas the suits that we wore JWI 1, like, we had one at the very end just shred all the way down the back. Like, and then we had buttons flying everywhere. It was just very clear. Yeah, suits are not really built to fight in. And X Suits definitely got a really good product. And, but to also add a little bit more context, you know, some people might know the story, some people don't. Like, JWI is just the name that the internet pretty much gave this.
Yeah.
Like, me and Danny started rolling in suits, and this was like October of last year. That's the first time we did a suit match. Didn't have any overtime weapons. We didn't even know we were gonna call it anything. We just did a match in suits because we were the only two that were in a division at black belt. We roll with each other every day. We're like, let's just have some fun. I encouraged him. I was like, let's just have some fun, roll in a suit. Because I had started making the promotion videos for Pit Boss, just talking to the camera, and I was wearing a suit. And so the idea had come to do a jiu-jitsu match in suits. And so I asked Danny. Danny's like, man, I don't have a suit to just be able to throw away. I was like, I'll give you a suit. So I did. I gave him a suit, and whenever he came in, I had it ready for him. He's like, are you serious? We're going to do this? I was like, come on, let's just have some fun. And so we did. We rolled in suits, and that was it. 5 minutes. There was no submission. There was no overtime weapons. It was just me and him going. And beforehand, I told him, I said, dude, let's go. And let's go hard. Like, I'm not interested in just trying to hold each other down. Like, let's just do jiu-jitsu, and let's go. And we did. We went after it. And it was a good, fun match. We were exhausted after. And, man, that's probably the most tired that I ever remember being after a match. And I think it was largely due to poor circulation.
Yeah, of course.
I think.
Yeah.
But we just did that match without knowing how it was going to be received. Nothing. Just like, hey, we're going to roll in suits. So we did. And then that's whenever I edited that first video, put the John Wick theme music in the background of it, and just made the caption on the screen, black belts rolling suits. And that video blew up. People really liked it. I was like, okay, there's something here. And then just watching all the comments and looking at seeing what people are thinking about it. A lot of people are like, man, 007 Invitational. A lot of people are like, man, John Wick Invitational. A lot of people are like, there was all kinds of different ideas. But really the closest, and obviously with having used the John Wick theme music, it was like, man, John Wick Invitational is awesome. Obviously, I don't have any ability to get any type of what do they call that? They call that EPs. Is that what they call it?
Oh, you're talking about from the company themselves giving it back to you? Is that what you're referring to?
Yeah. I'm talking about like rights. So like I can name something that's already clearly owned, the intellectual property. That's what it is. IPs. But my name is Jared Wayne. So that's where I trademarked JWI, and that's why we call it JWI, because it's Jared Wayne Invitational, but you know what? The internet can fill in the blank and just call it whatever they want to call it. And, you know, that was my attitude approaching it, just because I wanted to make sure that I was building something that had a certain level of protection, and also not just being an absolute idiot and just blasting it out there with how much views and attention it had already gotten. I didn't want to just put myself in a position where I immediately get a cease and desist letter, which I haven't gotten. So that's cool. That's awesome. And obviously, a lot of the people that know Terran Tactical, they're officials that are connected to those IPs. So I'm hoping that this entire thing could open the right doors, and just make the whole thing be able to grow beyond what I could alone make it grow into.
Yeah.
I think that it'd be so cool to be able to go to do one of the JWI events at some point. I don't even know. I've never been, but I have seen that they have this experience in Las Vegas. It's called the John Wick Experience. Have you seen this? It's kind of cool. It's like a building that's almost like a museum.
Really?
And yeah, they just got like John Wick stuff. I don't know if they've got like an auditorium or whatever, but if they had like a space to be able to set up, go out there and do one of the JWI events there, that would be pretty cool.
It would be awesome.
So somebody had tagged me in that video and said, hey, I think I see your next JWI venue. And I was like, man, that would be awesome. Maybe someday.
That would be cool. I started with, offering some praise and the stuff behind the scenes. And I mentioned my buddy Scott and fly fishing. The whole point was find something that you love, that you can be passionate about, that you can take an interest in and grow. It's just neat seeing these things come to life. And you said it best, it's the people behind the scenes. It's the whole team showing up to build a mezzanine. It's Kim and Chris showing up every event to scorekeep and to announce and to throw the gun in. I mean, there's the guys on radio. There's so many people involved.
Yeah. To
pull off inside of however many 1,000 square feet facility this thing is, there's a lot of people behind the scenes.
Yeah.
But they all believe in it. They all see it. There's a team. There's an end result that everybody enjoys. The competitors love it. It's clearly legitimate jiu-jitsu with a little bit of show, but I'll tell you what, at the end of the day, everybody I've shown, I don't care if they know, I don't even care if they can spell jiu-jitsu. They would look at it and they go, that is so cool. And it's just, somebody had a passion, had a dream, and I think that's important. I tell people all the time, if you can find something that you genuinely enjoy, there's something that is honorable and good, or something you get something out of it. Because I'll tell you right now, for the competitors, one thing that I have gotten from them, and I've talked to a few of them, they're like, this sharpens me. Like when I'm out here, as much as I'm having fun, I'm also learning while I'm going. Because if you're doing something in the suit for the first time, that's like ground fighting for a cop.
Yeah.
In a uniform and a vest for the first time. You might be an amazing fighter. You strap something on you that restricts your breathing. It's got a metal plate in it that stops bullets. You surround yourself with a bunch of non-bendy material, and you got to go fight for your life. Trust me, you're learning. And so I think I'm impassioned over that stuff. I love teaching self-defense for law enforcement. I've been a state instructor since 95, driving and in arrest control. And man, has it evolved. It's just evolved immensely. And I wish I could take what's happening out here and take it over into the academies and showcase, here's what it's really like. Let's get after it. And so there's just a lot of opportunity, a lot of market, but it all starts with a passion. It all starts with a drive. And that's what you brought to the game, and everybody fed off of it. The whole team sees it.
Like I've said, and I already alluded to, it is fun.
It is.
And that's what the motivation is I enjoy it. And everybody who's involved enjoys it. And I think that that's what makes it as special as it is. It'd be one thing if we were just throwing a regular jiu-jitsu tournament, or even if we were like trying to just have like MMA fights or whatever. There's plenty of people who already do that. And it's not to say that somebody can't come along and start a new promotion and do incredibly well. But I think that having a unique spin on it, it doesn't only appeal to the audience, but it appeals to every single person that wants to be involved in helping make it a reality, because it's fun and it's enjoyable. It's a passion, I think, that can be shared with a lot of people. Like, this is the coolest thing ever.
Yeah.
Throwing guns and knives in, fighting in suits. Like, nobody's ever done this. Nobody's ever thought to do this. And it just, everything about it makes a lot of sense. It lowers the barrier to entry in everything that we want to talk about whenever it comes to jiu-jitsu, self-defense, tactics, awareness. It really lowers the barrier to entry. What do I mean by that? I mean, like, it makes it easy to watch.
Mm-hmm.
It makes it to where you see this clip of guys that are fighting in suits, you're immediately hooked onto it, and you're like, whoa, that's cool. Is that a gun? Is that a knife getting thrown in there? What? That's a flying armbar? What was that? I've never seen something like that before. What did that guy just do? That would have broke his arm?
Yeah.
It lowers the barrier to entry, and it makes that we've got bite-sized, easily digestible portions of jiu-jitsu, tactics, self-defense that actually entertains people.
I will say this: there is so when you talk about an entry deal, here's a short rabbit trail that's actually not only affirmed, but actually a very cool story. So I go to church, family that is there. Gal comes up to me one day, says, "Hey, I talked to some of the gals in the church, some of the things you've been teaching. I want to come to a self-defense class. What do I do?" Comes down, shows up self-defense class. Comes over, starts talking to you and goes, "Hey, I got this cold water plunge thing I want to give you. Now that I know you're starting in church, you can use it to do baptisms with. Jared says, awesome, that'd be great. So she gives that. She keeps attending the class. The next thing you know, she comes. Now I'm taking this out of order. So she goes to church. She comes to a JWI event with her husband. So she comes to number 3. She watches it. Then that's where this conversation starts. Then she wants to do self-defense. Then she talks to you. She donates that. Then she comes back in for her next self-defense and she says, I'm going to start jiu-jitsu. So Saturday mornings on open mat, after we're done with women's self-defense, she's staying and she's rolling. Mm-hmm. And she's got she's got her own story that she can share out of that. But where all of that started was JWI. It was her and her husband showing up, watching this and going, and she's got a pretty cool backstory of why she's now wanting to train for self-defense because of a typical backstory, something bad that happens with a gal, where she's like, it's never going to happen again. That's never going to happen on my watch of my own self, my body. And she's committed, man. She's in it and she fights and she is learning and it all, I mean, I can't say that everything happened because of JWI, but when she left that event that night, I saw her at church the next day and she said, I want to start training. And I went, all right. And she is not taking her foot off the gas. So that is a legitimate story of a gal who has a backstory, who came in, who's been part of something and sees this and goes, there's a value now and a protection for me of what I'm learning. And I would say to anybody listening, JWI is the event, but there's years of training, hundreds of years combined training, obviously, with all the guys. If you take them all and put them together to get to the level of where they're at, you got to start somewhere. The hardest belt to get in jiu-jitsu is the white belt because you got to begin. And, I put it off for a long time till I did. And I was like, this is very cool. And I'm old and injured from hockey and a lot of other things that have happened, but I still, I will attest to the fact that I have got a gal, and there's several other people, but I got a gal right now who is all in because of a past. She says, nope, I'm going to learn. I'm going to learn how to defend and protect. And that thing enticed her to step up and do that. I just think that's a very cool story. That is literally an unforeseen byproduct that nobody would have ever predicted. And it impacted her. It impacted her family because now she's bringing her kids. It impacted your church because she donated something that you can utilize. And it's for the betterment of her all the way around. Just her mental spirit and talking to her Sunday is incredible. She already feels confidence at a much higher level. Mm-hmm. And you can see it. So cool.
Yeah, her kids are also training.
Yeah.
Her kids training. She's training almost every day. But, JWI, I think, had its part, but the broader conversation was also the daily carry. It was definitely the daily carry.
Oh, yeah.
It was definitely the podcast.
Yeah.
I think it was
left
the podcast,
that part out, sorry.
I think it was the podcast that actually put JWI on the radar, mm-hmm. and then, of course, JWI, and then everything that you just said, which is cool. So, yeah, there's an actual real-world example of exactly what I just said. It is bringing people, it's bringing interest to jiu-jitsu, to tactics, to being prepared, which is largely what the podcast is doing, but then having this tool in JWI to do the same thing and kind of just work together synergistically, it's awesome.
Yep.
Super cool. And then, of course, we've got the component of plugging in the daily carry and what we carry every day and being able to have an opportunity to really show why we're different. It's a wholesome, family-friendly event.
Yep.
And the music producer that came out, he echoed that. He said, I love that it was family-friendly. I love that there was kids there. I love that there was kids that were in the show. And he said, I think that the biggest thing, like for me, but he said that what kept me from getting into martial arts, I really wanted to do it, and he is doing it now. But he said, I really wanted to do it for a long time, and something was keeping me back. And he said, what it was? I was just like, I didn't think that I was like in that could be a part of that community.
Yeah.
It's kind of has this persona about it that it's like a bunch of tough guys, and like I don't think I'm going to fit in with that crowd. But he said, but that's not what it is. Martial arts community is like an incredible community, and it's family friendly, and it's for everybody. And he said, and that really, what I loved about your event is it put that on display. Like it was very wholesome, family friendly, and it really shows what the martial arts community is.
Yeah,
just people who come together and they enjoy doing martial arts together.
Yep.
And I love that. because that is a big thing that sets us apart too. We don't have guys in here just getting hammered drunk. We don't have anything like ring girls, nothing like that.
Right.
It's very wholesome.
Yep.
It's built in mind for, we're running this out of a jiu-jitsu gym, and a jiu-jitsu gym that, if you've listened to other episodes, you know everything that we're doing here is through conviction.
Mm-hmm.
And so with that, we're not going to have things that we wouldn't have whenever we had the 3 to 6 year old kids in here.
Right.
Every day, Monday through Friday at 4:30 p.m. The same way that I run the gym on those days, I'm going to make sure that the environment stays to where it would be acceptable and suitable even for them. And they're going to say, well, you're throwing guns and knives in. Yeah, you know who else we throw guns and knives in to get them trained and prepared? We do that with the kids too.
Yeah.
We do that with the kids too, because they need to be trained and they need to be prepared as well. Are you talking about just building little soldiers? Yeah, absolutely. We want to have kids that grow up capable, confident, and able, but also in control of themselves.
Sure.
That's what we need to have. And believe me, kids watching JWI or kids in here training and we throw guns or knives in, that is so much more healthy for them than even the video games that they play. The video games that they play are way more brutal, because you know what? They're not getting up after and hugging each other.
Yeah.
Like these grown men are, giving an example of sportsmanship to the next generation. Okay, I lost. Well, I'm going to get up. I'm going to dap you up. Good job. That was awesome. What a good match. Got a smile on their face every single time. That's a good thing for kids to see.
Yeah.
As opposed to just be blasting each other dead on their video games online and cursing each other out over the airwaves and all the things that online gaming entails. I mean, that's a pretty easy one for me, because there was some comments on the last one, like, do you guys literally see that there's kids there? It's like, yeah, there is kids there, of course. Like, why wouldn't there be? This is a jiu-jitsu gym. This is a jiu-jitsu event. We have kids that absolutely love this. And if we're being honest, I mean, I would rather a kid love this and be passionate about this than going to play video game tournaments or whatever. Listen, there's a place for that. There's an avenue for that. I think that I'm not saying anything bad about video games. There's people that are making a lot of money playing video games right now, which is cool. Good for them. But the argument that this is not for kids is I think, on its face, it's a very invalid argument. This is such a good thing all the way around for everyone.
I agree, and I'm gonna hand it back to you to close this out. But I will say two things that popped into my head. One, I grew up in the early '70s watching Yosemite Sam and Bugs Bunny and Wile E. Coyote and all of that. You know, there was always a coyote chasing a roadrunner getting blown up or running into a fake wall that was painted, and Yosemite Sam was always blasting something. And you get into the late 80s and they said, oh, this is too violent. Now look at the cartoons that are on TV. It's just the world. It's so funny because it's all perspective, I guess. We looked at it as humorous. I grew up with the Three Stooges when I was a young boy. What did Moe, Larry, and Curly do? They just constantly harassed each other, smacked each other, punched each other in the head. And it was funny. And everybody can always find something to be offended over. I can tell you right now, you come down here and put your kid into a class, learn how to defend themselves with respect. And this is the key. The gym's got to set the tone, the temperature. It all comes down to the head, and that's you. It comes down to the professor. It comes down to the guy running the show. It comes down to every other person who's teaching these kids the value, the integrity of it. If somebody has a hard stop on you're putting a rubber knife into a fight, I can tell you right now, I can take it to the real world and end my piece. I've been shot. I've had, I don't know how many different knife attacks where guys have turned on me. I would not have a wife to go home to if I didn't know what I was doing. I wouldn't have my kid to be able to raise. I taught my kids the exact same thing. I was watching a video the other day of a guy, and I know I mentioned this on, I think, many episodes, a guy who's like 6-year-old son, 7-year-old son and daughter drive those big 8-wheel combines in the fields. I saw the same dad out. So they had shot a video. The kid plows the field. This is like a 40-ton tractor. The kid's like 7. He's on earphones. This whole thing's electronic. The kid's driving the tractor. I mean, his lines are better than the dad's on plowing and seeding. It's incredible. But at the end of that video, dad was out with a pistol with his son, teaching him the mechanics of the pistol, target shooting, hunting, living off the land. And I don't mean like some, I'm not talking some doomsday prepper guy. I'm talking like a farmer. Like, and he's raising his And at the end of the video, he said, now how do we shake hands? And he shows his son a little bit more grip, look into somebody's eye, step back out of respect and courtesy, and shake their hand. So it went from the kid was driving a tractor to he was learning how to shoot a pistol to his dad was showing him how to shake a hand.
That's awesome.
And I bet they prayed at night before he went to bed. Mm-hmm. That wasn't in the video, but I just, everything inside me says that's exactly what happened. And we need that in the world. So, you know, what is being done here? Is it an event? Yeah. Is it fun? Yeah. Is it entertaining? Of course. Is it fake from the gun knife standpoint? Of course it is. But the jiu-jitsu is legit. And the people are entertained, and it is hundreds of years combined experience to pull off something like this with all these competitors. And there's a lot of people that now come to the gym because of that. The classes are full. The kids' classes are full. The parents understand it's your job to parent and dissect this stuff down. It's our job to teach them how to prep themselves and train and be in control of not only their body and their physicality of not hurting somebody unless you unequivocally absolutely got to defend yourself, but also your emotions and your attitude. There's just so much that comes from this stuff. So yeah, I could rabbit trail that all day, but I'll get off my bandwagon. I don't like hearing that people get critical over something that they know unequivocally is not real, yet at the exact same time in real life, these guys know how to defend against this stuff.
Yeah.
And that's what you're teaching. And that's huge. That's absolutely huge, especially in today's climate. Are you kidding me? Mm-hmm. There's story after story we could talk about, but I'm going to shut up and just say JWI 4 is coming and it's going to be epic.
Yes, it is going to be epic. And I'm super excited for it. And I'm super excited to continue to just build upon what has already been built brick by brick throughout this past year. And this next event, I really think is going to just be, we're going to see. I'm not going to count my chickens before they hatch, like how I switched that, so I didn't.
I did. Yeah.
I'm not going to count the chickens before they hatch, but I am very excited because I do think that this event is going to be the best that we have ever done, and I think that it is going to be very memorable, and there's going to be just multiplication of what the first events were.
Yeah.
And especially this time around, I mean, we know a lot better what we're doing than the first couple of these things that we ran. So I think that this one's going to be ran better. It's going to be smoother all the way around. All the things from the behind the scenes things to the front stage things, I think it's just going to be all the way around better. I mean, just little things like realizing that a black gun doesn't have very much contrast if you put it on a black mat. Like, we didn't really think about that until JWI 3. And now we're using the light gray mats so that there's contrast, but it's also like the color of the suits. Like, a lot of people are wearing black suits. So having an arena that has a lot of contrast, super important. So just little things like that. From those things all the way down to the live stream. The live stream's something that we've continued to work on, work kinks out. Last time we had some issues. The last time before that we had some issues. The first one we didn't even stream. We just recorded it and then uploaded. So every single one of these events, there's just so much improvement that's happening so quickly, especially for it literally just being a group of guys. Like, there isn't this big sponsor or big media company just like, here's everything you need to do this thing and make it awesome. This is just people coming together and just like, hey, let's figure this out. Let's do it.
Trial by fire.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Which is awesome. I think that's the coolest thing about this is it's just been a bunch of dudes. I'm just a regular dude. I'm not, I've got a vision for this thing and I'm excited about it and we're putting a lot of work into it. But at the same time, this is not some production studio.
Yeah.
Well, this is just people doing real life, and we've all found something that we think is awesome and we enjoy, and we're putting the work into it and making it something that's incredible,
Yeah.
So JWI 4 next Saturday, December 6th. We're going to be streaming on YouTube. There is tickets available, but we do have limited space. So keep that in mind. If you want to come in person, I would get your tickets very, very, very quickly. They are on the bio of Pit Boss Grappling Instagram. So if you go to Instagram and search Pit Boss Grappling in the bio, that's where you can click and open up the link. That's where you can buy tickets. And I don't know how many we have left. I haven't checked it in a while, but we were selling them left and right as soon as I even announced that they were in the bio. And that was literally like a week ago. So thing is that's okay. We want to keep the inside, the tickets, the actual attendance pretty exclusive.
Yeah.
We want to drive this thing online primarily and keep the people that are here limited to a pretty exclusive crowd that is able to really come in here and just soak it up and enjoy it, just have an absolute blast. So it's working well so far, and I think that model is going to continue to serve us well. I mean, we've got the space. It works. Like, we can do them in here left and right. And what does it cost us? It costs us some time and some sweat to be able to set stuff up, tear stuff down. But other than that, we're already here running jiu-jitsu classes 6 days a week. And then now, church on the 7th day a week.
Yeah.
Actually the first day of the week. Got to get that right.
There you go.
But yeah, we've got everything we need to keep doing these events here. And maybe it does grow and we get into a different venue, but for now, I don't see any reason why we would even worry about that, because there's so much we're continuing to be able to work on and refine just in having these things right here at headquarters.
Yep.
So, and it's working well and people are enjoying it. So as long as it's working well and people are enjoying it, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Yep. Amen.
So excited, man. You also brought some equipment over there yourself, I see.
I pulled the one out of my bag. So I had my EDC today, and then I was going to go, a buddy of mine owns a range down here, and we were going to go shoot. And then he texted me like 5 minutes before we started the podcast. It says, I gotta move it to tomorrow. So I had my, that's my FN 522 with a dead air can on it. It's fun because when you shoot it, it goes click.
Yep.
That's all you hear.
That's awesome.
So yeah, so we go out and we plink every once in a while.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Very cool, man. Well, it's been a short episode, but a good episode and a fun episode.
Yeah.
To just visit about JWI, where we've come from, where we're heading, and man, super excited for next Saturday. It's going to be an absolute blast.
Yeah. Looking forward to it for sure. Got a lot of work to do between now and then, though.
We do.
Got to get after it.
We do. I got to figure out how to upholster some of those wall mats and put some sponsors on there. So we'll have to see how that goes, but we'll figure it out. It'll be fine.
As always.
All right. I will close this out.
Is it you? All right.
I think so. It's 47.
All right.
Lord, thank you for another episode. Thank you, Jesus, that we've been able to get up this morning. Thank you for the day that we have been blessed with. It's the day that you've made, and we rejoice in you. We're glad in you. We ask you, Lord, that you would be with us throughout this day, throughout the remainder of this week and next week. I pray that you would bless Micah, his family, and I pray, Lord, that you bless my family, that you would lead us closer to you, Lord. Let us walk with you, and I pray, Lord, that you would help us to be a good reflection of you, your image, your goodness. Everywhere we go, everything that we do, we want to represent you well, and we want to do everything that we do with all of our might as unto you. I ask that you'd help us to do that well. We thank you. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
All right. Oh, yeah. Till next time.
Till next time.
I carry